Okay, it is day 695 off the grid, and here we are at Caccia Birch House in Palmerston North. There's the lagoon, there's the chalet where we normally go and sit with our chips, but we decided to come up here. It's a house that's now owned by the Palmerston North City Council, and it's rented out for functions, and citizens are allowed to walk around it when it's not being used for that. So we came up here and had some food. Of course, today's our shopping mission, and we've pretty much finished that now. Some nice trees and stuff. It's pretty awesome, mate. Pretty awesome old house. I went back to DC Power and made a purchase. I bought a link cable that links to, sort of lead acid batteries together with your normal starter type terminals, lead terminals, so you can join two batteries for 24 volts, which is exactly what I'm going to use it for. It was 50% off. I also got a master slave switcher from Jaycar, which seems a bit different, and we'll go into that a bit more one day when I actually use it. I also picked up an LED, one of those small LED scrolling signs that I'm going to put in the window of the radio station for MavTech to promote the station a bit. But a little bit pissed off with that, because when I paid for that, there was a new guy on, a noob, and he didn't ask me for my loyalty card, so he put the transaction through, and I didn't get my points. And yeah, I was a bit annoyed about that, because I just recently got a $25 gift card from them for my purchases, so I want my points, you know what I mean? And people make mistakes, that's alright, but the manager was there, and he said, oh, we can't put the points on after the transaction's finished. So, I said to him, well, why don't I just return it right now and you give me my money back, and then I'll just buy it again. And I've done that kind of thing before there, but he was a bit stressed out because of Christmas shopping or something, and said, oh no, can't do that and stuff. And as it turned out, the master slave switch, they actually charged me a couple of bucks too much for, accidentally, as sometimes happens. Things get ringed up for the wrong price, and I went back in there to get my change on it, and then he sort of apologised to me about the noob stuffing up my sale, and explained how he'd been busy and stressed out and stuff like that. But if he just made it right in the first place, he wouldn't have had any explaining to do, would he? But this is not going to make me dislike Jaycar or anything. I still think Jaycar's fucking awesome, so whatever. But it's just those kind of things sometimes put me in a bit of a bad mood. But that all went away when we got an awesome heist of Vogel's bread from Zilch. We went there a little bit afterwards, got about 4 loaves of the shit, so it's worth about $5 or $6 a loaf, so that's like 24 bucks worth of Vogel's bread for free. Wow. And we've got the freezer running now, so of course we can freeze it and eat it as we want it, so good shit. Oh, this is a pretty cool place. I'd like to come here and record. There's some tables over there. There's the remains of our food there. I'm going to throw that out. But yeah, I'd like to come here and record one day like this. Just come here when there's no one here and just record. But maybe not this spring. And I guess that's something to say now. This is the last day of November, so how's November been? Well, it's been a pretty shit November, really, weather-wise. I mean, haven't had many fine days. Had to run the generator 3 times in November. One time a major run, like all day, like what we do in the winter, with this new little generator. But the other 2 times were only short runs, like 3-hour runs, which is just basically 1 tank of gas, which is 2 litres of gasoline, or petrol, as we call it over here. But last year we didn't have to run it at all in November, December, January, I think just at the end of February there was a shitty time when it was really hot but really overcast and we had to run it, but we hadn't ran it for the last week in October, so we basically got 4 months without the generator last year, but not to be this year. Although this year, October, we didn't run it, but we did come close a number of times. Looks like the wind's kicking in now, so I better shut this off because you just don't want to hear wind noise. So yeah, we'll be heading off now, and well, a little bit of supermarket shopping, not much because we've got boots full of stuff from Chili Box, reduced to clear and zilch, so we don't spend much at the supermarket, the actual supermarket, so there we go, and off for pizzas, and that's it for day 695 off the grid.